we'd have people call in from literally Cambodia and Kenya, and we'd lose them online, you know, during a live show. So a lot of our shows are pre-recorded, and it's kind of a fun way. You sort of listen firsthand on how development projects are being happening around the world, and you know, the countries range throughout Africa, Central South America, Asia, Australia, and so forth, in Europe, and of course the US. So it's a really great way to get a first-hand experience, you know, from that person who's working on that project, their experiences, what motivates them to work on the project, what are the expectations of a volunteer. A lot of things that you could read online, but it gives a different perspective, I think, if you're actually listening to someone talk about it on radio. And I think another cool aspect of what we do, we try to work very closely with other organizations like Change-ins. We have a current campaign with them right now, where we highlighting different people, or sort of 3 phenomenal change agents, and when you listen to certain shows, you can win different things like weekend getaways or clothing vouchers and so forth. So that kind of just leverages the show, brings more attention, more focus to what the show is about, and there's something fun that comes out of it too. You can win different things. So the main goal is to really, I think, with my goal, and why I really started doing this, is to highlight cool people doing really cool stuff around the world. I think that's something that's very important to me. It's changed or given me a whole new perspective in my own life on how I look at the world, where, you know, I love being able to throw a backpack on my back and just kind of go out there, but there's a lot more to it than that, and it's hard to just kind of backpack through all those countries and not be affected by what a lot of these communities are living through. And I think that's sort of the personality about the show, is to highlight these individuals, because they really are looking for support in what they're doing. And not everyone can jump on a plane, you know, to Africa, to Cambodia, to Bolivia, you know, to well, I'm sure everyone wants to jump on a plane to Costa Rica. But there's so much that you can do literally just sitting in your pajamas on your couch, in terms of online volunteering, putting together fundraising events, bringing more focus through Twitter, through Facebook, and so forth. I think you wanted me to talk a little bit about that. You know, we do a lot of our marketing through using Twitter and Facebook applications, and we also send out regular press releases nationally. And you know what's really interesting about that is we send out our press releases nationally, and we always get a lot of response from Germany and Sweden, where we don't even send it out that way. It's amazing how the Germans find us. Very philanthropic country. Sweden.
Your last name is?
Schiebe, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
That's probably why.
A good time for questions? I'm not sure. When I think the online volunteering concept is I think the online volunteering concept is really wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hadn't really heard that term before, but I really like it. And so I wonder, when you're working with agencies who are unfamiliar with online volunteering, except for the money part and the sign up to come to our projects, you know, physically part, how do you help them construct a project that someone could do online, or help them you know, construct their language so that they know what they're looking for in terms of online volunteering?
You know, there are so many really great websites out there, like Nabir.com, Change-ins, N-A-B-U-R.
Okay.
It's Dutch for neighbor. Change-ins.com, running a campaign with them right now, and they these really great web portals that list all of these online volunteer opportunities. So, you know, let's get 20 of my friends together and pay $5 each, and you know, that amount, that, you know, that $100 or whatever amount that you raise does a phenomenal amount of work, you know, to a refugee who's just resettled in Austin.
Or you could use it as sort of a template for gathering ideas about how to use that concept for your own nonprofit.
Right. Or, you know, even working with a nonprofit in Somalia, for example, putting together a website. They may not necessarily have the skill set to do that. Everyone has a blog nowadays. Everyone sort of, so, you know, even assisting a nonprofit abroad on how to put a website together, because once they're actually able to do that, they can now get exposure to their project internationally that they wouldn't have been able to do There's so many opportunities, putting together a website, fundraising campaigns, giving business advice to entrepreneurs and wanting to start businesses. I actually just did an interview recently with this team called the Drink Pink team. I'd never heard of them before. Much of anyone has heard of them, and if anyone's gone to, but they've somehow managed, they throw these parties and the funding goes towards breast cancer research, a company based in California. And they get a ton of people that come to the events, and they've somehow managed to get the Drink Pink campaign.
Drink Pink.
And I think something like 60% or 70% of the proceeds goes towards this company that towards breast cancer research, and they've secured Budweiser as one of their sponsors. So yeah, I know, it's really, I don't know if you've been to it. So it's a different way of fundraising where they're looking at different avenues of fundraising for events, which is not the traditional way of fundraising. It's kind of, it's very new, but they're doing it pretty regularly. They're really successful. A lot of the funding, a lot of the proceeds are going towards breast cancer research and so forth. So those kinds of ideas where, if you're going to be, incorporating fundraising in people's daily routine so that they're not necessarily having to do something in addition to their regular schedule, it's just part of what they do anyway. So there's a lot of opportunities to look at sort of volunteering online and so forth. But Nabir is a great web portal to do that.
That's good.
Yeah, because not everyone can jump on a plane, as much as I love to be able to do that. But there's a lot that we can do, from this side without having to leave the country in assisting these development projects. And I think a big push of what we could do is work with, or really assist and empower these small and a lot of the times there really are small nonprofits that they're putting together, they're bringing these great ideas together in working with these development projects around the world and bringing exposure to what they're doing, because that's really going to help add momentum to what they're doing. So we try to do that with our shows and so forth in a fun way that people want to get involved.
And how do you know who your audience is who's listening? Do you know
it's
anything
mostly
about
in the
them,
U.S.
or?
Yeah, mostly in the U.S. We are looking at being able to determine, like, regionally, if they Texas, New York, California, and so forth. So there's different programs that we're looking at right now to determine Germany for some reason.
Doesn't long-term radio have that?
They do. Not regionally though. They can give you a listenership, but they can't tell you by region.
By country only?
Not to my knowledge. Yeah. But I mean, that is something that a lot of we are looking at right now, because a lot of organized and lots of companies are wanting to know that, where's the target, where's the reach, and so forth. But for the most part, in the US and Canada. Yeah. Has everyone seen the Blog Talk Radio web portal? No? Yeah, they have some really interesting shows, just on a whole array of topics. Yeah. And I know Paul listens to quite a few of the podcasts.
Yeah, I mostly listen through iTunes.
Right.
You can go to iTunes, and there's an incredible number there.
Right.
Well, I need your help.
Yeah?
But we can talk some other time about
Which
it.
company, which nonprofit are you with?
For the one that, I don't know if Paul mentioned it, but I don't want to, I would talk a lot, so I can tell you about it later. But the Uganda Community School, and it's pretty much, we really need a lot of help with online marketing.
Okay.
And it's run in Uganda, obviously, with its own staff there, but then also here as well. And,
Right.
Sorry,
my
meeting with the traffic to hear you.
Oh, okay. The Uganda Community School, it's a nonprofit that we just had the run recently, and it's actually, my mother is the founder of it, but online marketing is not something that she understands, and so even though we have support in the U.S., it's not something that we've been able to tap into, and I think it would be a great training opportunity for the staff in Uganda, who are, all based in rural areas and don't have that exposure thus far in terms of their training, and so it would be wonderful to be able to incorporate that into the project. It's prime time. It's really actually something that we really need.